Changing your identity at will. Now, a big part of this is to understand what defines your identity. Now, it's very simple, and it is your memories. Memories. Your memories is what defines your experience in this moment right now. And as I am saying these words, you are thinking about other YouTubers who create similar content. Now, if you're watching me, then you're more than likely watching Nero Knowledge. Shout out Nero. I fucking love your content, dude. It's amazing. I wish I found your content sooner because it would have helped me on my journey faster. Other people such as William Donahue or Reverend Ike, or people of these nature. A lot of these people speak on similar things, so as I am creating this video, your memory is comparing those people to who I am right now, and then what you're also doing is you're comparing, so hold on, content creators, Nero, Rev Ike, William Donahue. Okay, you're taking these people, comparing it to me, which is, my name is Christian. I am Christos. And what you're doing with this is then you're bringing it all the way back to you. So there's a little bit of it's cyclical in nature. Now, this is for everything in your life. You are constantly revolving memories and ideas from who you're immediately watching, who has inspired you in your life, or made you think in your life, and you're always revolving it back to yourself. And this is a really wonderful thing that happens, because if you have something good in your life, if you have someone teaching you something good, that's going to improve your life. However, if you have something bad, it's going to negatively impact your life. And there are so many people in this world who get stuck in negative memories, negative situations where they repeat the shit over and over and over and over again. So you can kind of conceptualize this through what I'm about to draw, because memories project images onto this screen and space that we call reality. So if you have a bad memory, right, and this is in your subconscious, right, what's happening? Now, I'm going to explain this. Now, this is, I want you to think of the circle, right? You have the lens, and then you have light being projected. I'm not really sure. This is not good, but I hope you can follow along as I explain this. You have the bad memory in your subconscious mind, which is a projector, okay? This projector is bringing these memories onto the screen of space and time, which is reality, right? Now, before we get to that screen in space and time, this light, these images are going into your conscious mind, which you can just view as you. But in this case, you're actually upset, so not smiling. And then from here, as you're consciously interacting with the world around you, your eyes are going to see this reality. You're projecting this image out into the world, this screen that we call reality, okay? And when you're in this position where you're projecting more of that out into the world, what's happening? You're recreating the same event to repeat over and over and over again. So it's so important for you to understand that you had a memory, or you had an experience first. Someone broke your heart. Someone stole your car. Someone crashed into you. Your brother beat the shit out of you when you were younger. A girl or a boy rejected you in elementary school, and from that moment you felt unworthy to be in a relationship. You had an experience, and as you kept going through life, You remember this memory because it became a core memory, and you would, every time you came to a similar situation that reflected the terrible memory, you were operating out of this notion that this is similar to that thing. So you would just recreate the same theme. Now, it's not that you're recreating the same memory, because obviously it's not the same person, the same thing, or the same situation happening detail for detail for detail. No, but there's the same theme. Rejection, failure, apathy, depression, whatever it is, it's cyclical in nature. You're constantly cycling through this theme over and over and over again. And you're wondering why you're continuously experiencing the same thing. It's because you're just holding on to this memory. And the crazy thing is, this past memory is so emotionally charged, okay? Because you obviously can't have memories, because you're part of it is that you have emotions tied to it. You felt something. You felt your heart was breaking, which is the emotion of rejection, which I guess you can define rejection as emotion, more just like unworthiness, right? You had a past memory that was emotionally charged. So I'm just gonna kind of like, boom. This just represents an emotional past memory, and you're experiencing this in the present moment only because you are placing yourself. This is kind of paradoxical in nature, because the present moment, you're experiencing the same level of emotional turmoil in the present moment only because you projected that past memory into the future, which really is coming back to this present moment in time. So let's think about that. And now, as you're watching me right now, think about this. You had a terrible memory, and as you remember that memory, you are thinking about the future, another situation, another potentiality for it to exist, and you're pushing that notion that you're going to experience that into the future, and then you find yourself in another present moment, and you're experiencing the same level of pain. So you have to be super careful about what memories you're choosing to hold on to, because if you do not take the time to remove memories that do not serve you, or maybe not remove, let me rephrase that, to alchemize memories that will bring a lesson into your consciousness, you're going to be at the mercy of it. So you need to find a lesson from this, from a memory. So a memory for me that has been on my mind lately was, I was dating this girl in high school. Everyone wanted us to break up, and she was she was not the most attractive. But she was definitely one of the most attractive girls, one of the most popular girls in school, and I was not a popular person. But I ended up bagging this girl. I was dating for her for a while, but the entire time we were in a relationship, everyone was trying to break us up. Her best friends were trying to break us up, which, in all hindsight, this was a terrible, terrible relationship, and I really should never have done it. But she was beautiful, and it was the first time I ever felt love, not to mention the first time I ever had sex. So of course I'm going to be mesmerized by this woman, girl. She's not a woman at that time. And I remember when we broke up, which I'll spare you the details, one of her friends came up to me and gave me a finger condom and said, "This will fit you better." And it's not like I had a micro penis. I don't have a small penis. I am an average guy. And there's nothing inherently wrong with me. But for some reason, that memory has stuck with me for so long. And part of it was because what was happening in that moment was I realized she was talking about me to her friends and talking about something that should be kept private. So I felt betrayed. Then I felt shame because, am I not big enough? Am I not able to satisfy my partner? Am I not? And I think part of it too is was porn. There's a lot of emphasis on porn in my school, let alone most schools, let alone most places in the world, because porn at this point, there was no conversations around porn being bad for you. It was kind of just like the norm. So like I was comparing myself to, and keep in mind that was part of the context of the situation in the school. So for the longest of time, that memory was seared into my mind, and it stopped me from pursuing girls because I was afraid of things that should be kept private being public. I was afraid of not being able to please my partner. I was afraid of being put in a public scene in front of everybody and being shamed, because when she came and gave me that finger condom, there was a couple other of her friends who were right there with me, and they all just started laughing at me, and I felt super embarrassed. And so because I had this finger condom memory, anytime there was a moment where I would cold approach a girl, I would already be thinking to myself that I'm going to be rejected. Equals rejection. Even though this girl knows nothing about that, even though that memory was in the past and it's not now, and it wasn't even true to begin with, it doesn't matter because I was holding on to this memory as if it was true. And something important to note about this is that memories your memories are tied to your imagination. And your imagination the difference between fact and fiction. So, memories are tied to your imagination, and your imagination does not know the difference between fact and fiction. And what happens when a byproduct, I should say, of your imagination not knowing the difference between fact and fiction is your body perceives the imaginal act / memory as real. Again, so let's recap what I just went over. Memories are tied to your imagination. Your imagination does not know the difference between fact and fiction, and your body perceives the imaginal act, your memory, as real. So this is what brings that cyclical cycle. You're just constantly recreating something that happened to you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago, over and over and over. And it's unfair because you're projecting that memory onto people. And that person wasn't even part of that memory. They weren't even part of that situation. You're being selfish. I was being selfish to those girls because they had no connection to that, but I was already perceiving them as a hoe, as a thought, because other details about that situation that is not for this video, but it was just unfair. And I was shorting myself because I was choosing to be a victim of my circumstance rather than the victor of my memory, to learn a lesson about what I want from a woman, what I want from a relationship, what I want from a sexual relationship. So I was shorting myself from experiencing other beautiful relationships. And furthermore, as I was in other relationships, I always had this in the back of my mind, and it was stopping me from fully embracing my masculinity, fully embracing my manhood, so I can go and be a proper man to the woman that I was with. And now I understand this. I understand that in order for you to free yourself from memories, you have to let them go. You truly need to let your memories go, because if you do not let it go, you're going to experience it again and again and again in different forms. Okay? So now let's start getting into how do you actually let these memories go. And I already touched on it a little bit, but memories hold lessons. Okay? Every memory that you have inside of your mind right now has a lesson to it. So for me, and I want you to what is the word? Conceptualize this to any memory in your mind that does not serve you. Okay, you could be a business memory of a client being super upset at you for messing up the cabinets as you're painting them, or I don't know. Just conceptualize it to whatever memory that you have. Memories hold lessons. So the lesson in this situation is that my ex had terrible friends because they treated me like garbage. Number two, a lesson. So that lesson in that would be find a girl who has better friends, because the quality of the friendships determine the quality of the woman or the partner. And this could be girls. Same thing for the guys in your life. Does the guy have good friends? Does the guy respect your partner? If not, probably not the best group. Probably not the best guy. Now that doesn't mean that the guy himself is bad. And again, guys, doesn't mean the girl is bad. Just be mindful. Number two, she was telling her friends about me. And I think, personally, I do not want a woman who's going to share things about me that should be private. So the lesson is, find a woman who you can trust. It's a simple lesson, but not a lot of people really take the time to check that mark off. So learning these lessons, I'm able to recreate that memory and gain wisdom from it. Because now that I have this new shift in a memory, I can take that and I can put it to cold approaching girls in a different way. I can look out for things, for qualities and traits that I'm looking for in a woman. And if I see something like, they say something that is going to lead me to believe that they're just going to talk about things that should be private, I'm not even going to waste my time. Period. It's not worth it. I have standards for myself. I have boundaries for myself. And I'm not going to short myself just because this woman is beautiful. And you shouldn't short yourself just because the man is attractive and he has money and he has status. If he's not going to provide you the qualities and the traits that you're looking for marriage, then why waste your time? Yes, you might have a good time with this person. You might gain some pleasure. You might gain some experiences, but is this person going to satisfy your mind and your spirit and your soul in the long run? No. So is it actually worth it? And a better question is, can I afford this? This is a question you should be asking yourself about everything. Can I afford to think this way? Can I afford to feel this way? Can I afford to give myself this momentary pleasure? No. Because if I do, I'm giving part of myself to this person and they don't deserve it. And I know what I deserve. So you're shorting yourself and you're not respecting yourself. So you have to find lessons in the situation. If you are abused, the lesson is there are signals to an abuser, and now you have data to avoid an abuser in the future. You have data to help friends who are in an abusive relationship to get out of it, because how you got out of it can be the same way a friend gets out of their abusive relationship. That example I gave about a client blowing you up or freaking out about you for ruining the cabinets. Did you hire the wrong subcontractor? Did you rush hiring this person and did not vet them? Maybe you did the actual painting. Did you rush it? Did you actually know what you were doing? Take what was done, find the lesson in it, apply it to this new moment. That way you can seize the moment and actually create a new memory that serves your greater good. So it's so important for you to be mindful about how you interact with your memories, how you relate to your memories, what memories you choose to hold on to, because if you do not hold on to the right memories, you're going to be in a state of lack, a state of fear, a state of poverty. Now, I would like to quote some scripture, and this is not from a literal fundamentalist perspective. I am a man who believes most religious texts are esoteric in nature. There's an esoteric science to this stuff. So Psalms 121 verses 1 through 8. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike by day, nor by moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even furthermore. Now, there's a couple things that I want to break down esoterically for you. What does Lord actually mean from the esoteric sense? Lord equals... Ooh. I don't know what that box was. Imagination in completion, okay? Imagination in completion. Completion. But it also is law of thought. Okay? And then eyes. What does eyes mean? This is not talking about physical eyes. This is the inner eye. Vision of the mind. The mind / imagination, okay? I will lift my eyes up into the hills. The hills desire / wish. So when it comes to, I like the scripture because obviously when you gain the esoteric understanding, scripture has a completely new understanding, or meaning I should say. So I like it because you have to be able to lift up your focus and your attention to the Lord, which is the faculty of the imagination, the law of thought. So how are you thinking about imaginations? How are you actually visualizing yourself in those imaginations? Are you coming from a place of goodness or evil? Having a vision of the mind, that vision being a memory, you need to be able to restructure it to a new desire, a new wish. So if you have a memory that does not serve you, you need to have the intention to change that vision. You need to change the desire of what it is. I should say, you need to have a desire to change the memory. And it's not that you're forgetting and completely, it's not that you're erasing. I think that's how you spell erase. Memory. It's actually reforming the memory. And that is so important, because if you really take the time to reform the memories, because you can't just disregard your past. That's selfish to yourself, and it's rather destructive, honestly, because that's what made you. It doesn't mean that you have to remember memories from a certain perspective. You can change it, and part of changing it is reforming, which goes back to exactly what we were just talking about, but which is learning the lesson. You have to receive the lesson from your memories, and if you do not, then you're going to continue to experience the same shit over and over and over again. So if you really want to change your identity, you have to reform your memories, and you can change your identity at any given moment. All that is dependent is your willingness to let go of what you once thought was true. And it can be challenging, obviously, because if you've been holding the same memory in your mind for a super long time, it's not like it is possible for you to snap your fingers and to just recreate it. But let's be realistic. If you have all this momentum going in one direction, if you have a heavy train going 200 miles an hour, that's probably way too fast, like 100 miles an hour, It's not like it can just stop instantaneously and turn and go the other way. No, it's going to take a couple minutes to slow down and then to recenter itself to go the other way. It's the same way for you. And as you develop this muscle, you will then be able to stop a train going 100 miles an hour instantaneously to go the other way. But you need to give yourself time. You have to practice this. You have to take the time to train this part of your mind so you can actually receive lessons from your memory, and stop identifying with memories so you can actually confront the day, not even confront, so you can interact with the world in a completely new way. So I really encourage you to, whatever memory that you have that is plaguing you right now, sit with it. What is the lesson? And there's some horrible shit that could have happened to you. Tortured. I'm not trying to use things that will be super explicit, but you could have been physically abused, sexually assaulted. You could have been drugged. And I'm using extremes because I want to emphasize that people who have had extreme things happening to them, you don't have to be plagued by that anymore. There's lessons to that, and that there's a lesson in that memory that will make you who you need to be to change the world for the better, to change your personal life for the better. That's going to make you powerful. That's going to make you just a wonderful person. Now, most of us are not going to have extreme examples like that. Thank God we're fortunate to not have to be someone who goes through extreme situations where we have memories of being tortured or physically abused or whatever the horrible thing could be. So it makes it a little easier for us. But then again, I understand if you have so much momentum going from a memory, it will take time. So give yourself grace, but sit with this memory, extract the wisdom from it, extract the lessons from it, so you can recreate who you are. Because when you stop living from those memories, a whole new world of opportunity opens up for you, because you now can now instill new memories that are rooted in something good. So imagine that. Imagine being able to wake up, and the first thing you think about, so you wake up and feel good. Feel good. Then you imagine how good the day will be. You think and feel. Oop. Bear with me. Okay, so you have you've learned your lessons. So now you wake up and feel good, because you're not holding yourself to the past. Okay, and then as you wake up, you then imagine how good the day is going to be, and because you're imagining how good the day is going to be, you then think and feel that today will be good, and because you think and feel that today will be good, you expect good things to happen, and because you expect good things to happen, you experience wonderful things. And then when we get to the energetic part of it, instead of your frequency being super slow and just like ugh, it becomes high vibrational. So you're going, that's not good. You're operating at a higher frequency, which means you're going to attract better things. You're going to receive more abundance, receive more prosperity, receive better friendships. You're going to receive the things that you've been wanting to receive. So it's also important to make the comparison, or the statement that Memories have frequencies attached to it. So if you have a low frequency memory, you're going to experience a low frequency reality. If you have a high frequency, if you operate at a high frequency memories, you're going to experience a high frequency reality. And that is so powerful because you can just hack your mind. You can hack what it is that you want to experience. Instead of living in those lower states of consciousness, you now are operating out of, you're now operating and living out of high states of consciousness, experiencing all the things that you've wanted to experience. So I appreciate you being here for this video, and I really, really hope that this will change your life, because understanding this stuff has changed my life. And I do not tolerate myself to feel, to think, and to recreate my life from negative memories like the ones I described in this video. I refuse, because I deserve better from that. I deserve better, and I will have better, and I already have better. I am experiencing a successful business. I'm experiencing a small investment portfolio that's going to turn into 7, 8, 9 figures in the future. I'm going to experience beautiful relationships with people. I'm going to experience confidence with wonderful and beautiful girls who match the values that I want, match the traits that I desire, who are going to fill me up with life and not going to fill me up with shame and regret and anger and sadness and depression. And it's the same thing for you. So give yourself the time, learn the lessons from your memories, stop living from those memories, give yourself the path to remove yourself from the terrible situation so you can enter a new world where you're experiencing all the things that you want to experience. And last, give yourself compassion throughout this process, okay? Be easy on yourself. It's going to take some time. You can't stop a train going 100 miles an hour, expect it to go in the opposite direction in a snap of a finger. It's the same thing for you. So be kind to yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Stop choosing to operate out of that memory and start to operate out of something new, something more beautiful, something more magical, because you deserve it. Again, I appreciate you for being here, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Much love.